All right, everybody, thanks for waiting. Attendance tonight was 10,088. We did a $4.4 million gate. The fight of the night, Weidman Machida. Performance of the night, Ronda Rousey and Font. Congratulations, they all won $50,000. Font. Calm down, you're not getting any of that. Who's got the first question?
Dana, you seem like you're a little bit upset with Joe Rogan, maybe more than a little upset. What happened?
I wasn't upset with Joe Rogan, I was upset with the truck telling him to tell Ronda that she's going to fight again. That wasn't true, that was some shit that somebody made up back there. I don't know what happened. It was the biggest idiotic move in the history of our production team.
So what was the conversation there? You were talking to the truck and Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I take it when I saw you go in the back, you were talking to Ronda, apologize?
When I went in the back?
Yeah.
No. No, I told them right up there. That's not true. I don't know where that came from. That is, that was not, nobody told anybody to say that.
A question for Chris, please. Chris, that was kind of a gut check kind of win. First of all, it seemed like every time you were asked a question, it's Anderson Silva involved. Do you think with this fight, one of the great fights of the year, against a really good fighter, that maybe you finally put the Anderson Silva thing behind you, and that you're going to be able to live on being a great fighter yourself and not who you beat in the past?
I don't know about that, and I don't mind having Anderson Silva attached to me as long as it does, because he's the greatest of all time. So the more I'm winning, and the more people are talking about me beating him, I have no problem keeping him in the picture.
Seemed like you were pretty fatigued going down the stretch. I mean, did you have any doubt in the in the fifth round there that, hey, I'm going to take this thing? And it seemed like a couple times Lyoto hurt you with some of those punches and kicks he was throwing. You had a pretty gnarly thing under your rib cage there.
Yeah, I don't use the word gnarly, but it was awesome. Gross.
Hey, we call it gnarly, bro.
Sorry, California kid. But I don't know. I don't think he definitely hit me with some good shots, but I think just my hard work and every day just sparring, just moving forward no matter what I get hit with, paid off in the fourth round.
And if I could ask Ronda a question, Ronda, where are you going to get your motivation by winning these fights? Not only in the first round, now you're winning them under 30 seconds. I mean, it's how do you get motivation to keep going forward when it seems like there's a pretty clear gap between you and the rest of the division?
Well, it only seems like that because I am so motivated already. And if I stopped being motivated, then these fights would probably drag out a lot longer. And I still have a lot of improvements to make still. I want to retire undefeated, be known as one of the greatest of all time, and that takes a lot more work than what I've done so far.
Can you talk a little bit about the improvement in your hands? I think it was before your Carmouche fight, Edmund was saying he thought you could go to the Olympics if you chose to win a medal in boxing in the Olympics. Now, it was a while back, but your hands have seemingly progressed every fight. Do you feel like, as confident in your hands as you do in your submission game?
Well, maybe not as confident because I have a decade and a half of experience grappling and doing judo, and I really only have 4 years experience with striking. But I haven't really picked up a gi and done judo since I started doing MMA. I felt like I wanted to be comfortable as a complete mixed martial artist, and I really had to immerse myself in the striking game and make that a strength instead of something I was trying to avoid. So it's catching up. But, I still have a lot of work left to do.
For Dane, please, do you have any updates on Stephen Drew's condition? What's the latest there?
Yeah, he's doing great. The doctors cleared him and let him go. He has this condition that every specialist and doctor has cleared him and checked him out, and the commission approved him. It reminds me of the Holyfield thing. The guy's going to have to retire, and then he's back. And I guess tonight he had something like a panic attack. He started he almost blacked out. He started hyperventilating. His blood pressure dropped. I don't know, just one of those weird things. I'm just glad he's okay, and I
was going to say, is this something that, again, it seems like you have to start thinking, is this a career-ending type situation, or is it too early to tell?
I think it's something that he really needs to think about. Obviously, you meet some of these guys that love to compete so much that they'll overlook certain things. I think tonight showed that he's not one of those guys. He started to black out, and he started having a panic attack like there was something wrong with his heart again. I think, again, this is all just what I've heard, but I think that he needs to do some soul searching. He's a super talented guy. He's a great guy. We love the guy, and I don't know. We'll see where he goes from here.
And obviously, you talked about the situation post-fight with Ronda. Can you tell us what is happening with UFC 176? There seems to be a lot of discussion that there's just
I have
no fight
idea. I have no idea. I don't care. I don't even want to think about that right now. I am in the best mood I've been in a long time. I don't give a shit what's going on with that fight right now. I just want to take this in and enjoy my weekend. Believe me, I will have a million nightmares on Monday that I will deal with.
Fair enough. Chris, if I could please, obviously, kickboxing was a big part of it tonight. You started out really working the low kicks, that sort of thing. Talk about what the strategy was and why you thought that would work versus, relying more on the wrestling from the beginning.
This is MMA, so if I just went in there and told myself, all right, I have to get the takedown, I'm losing the fight, I think I'd definitely be in some trouble. So thanks to Ray Longo, I'm definitely confident standing, and kicks were definitely going to be a part of the game. And it kind of sucked that in the first round I hit him with either on his elbow or his knee, checked it really good, and my foot was killing me moving forward. So my kicks definitely slowed down. I wasn't kicking as much. Yeah. I don't know if I answered the question, to be honest.
You did. I appreciate it. Thank you. And for Ronda, if I could please as well, obviously, even just 16 seconds, we thought you get out unscathed, but you didn't. I guess there's a cut on your hand, and you said the knee surgery as well. Can you just detail us on kind of what your condition is and I guess maybe what the rest of your year does look like?
Well, it turns out that from the last two camps for 168 and 170, I kept ripping my knuckle open and just covering it up and hitting on it still. All I did was just make sure it didn't get infected, and I guess I ended up developing a cyst under my knuckle. And after the McMahon fight, I should have taken it more seriously and gone into the doctor and got it taken out, and I just kind of kept dismissing it. And I ended up ripping it open with that first overhand right, and I just got 9 stitches in my hand. Hopefully the cyst is actually gone, but I have to go to the doctor and get it checked out, make sure. And with the knee surgery, it's just something that, kind of more maintenance that I need to do. And so it's not really a major knee surgery at all. It's just a scope. I literally walk out of there. I'd be 100% after 2 weeks after that one. And yeah, well, I'll go to the doctor and see what they say about the hand. Left or right knee? Right hand, right knee. But I'm left-handed, so it's all good.
And just one last one for Dana, if I could, please. Also, do you have any update on Uriah Hall? And once you get that update, do you think what he did tonight kind of answers some of those questions that we had about his mindset, his toughness? Was he really a quote-unquote fighter?
Right, yeah. I don't. Does anybody in my staff know? Yeah, he's transported. It was a pretty nasty break. I mean, it looked, it was whatever in the first round. By the third round, it was nasty. Yeah, everybody knows I love Uriah Hall. I like the kid professionally and personally, and it was good to see him, let his hands go tonight and fight through a broken toe, and, yeah, he's back. I like it.
My question is for Alexis. Alexis, obviously a disappointing result. Can you tell us what's going through your mind now and also what you remember of the fight?
Obviously a lot going through my head right now. Well, what are you going to do? There's a lot of stuff I didn't do that I wanted to do, and, just even my movement-wise. But, live and learn from your mistakes. Just get back up and keep fighting.
Question for Chris. Obviously, you this weekend over here, Chris. This weekend, obviously, being July 4th, the American flag's kind of become your signature in and out of the cage. But I had heard that there was actually a special story behind the flag you were carrying tonight. Was there something with that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. One of these guys from my hometown in Baldwin, he's in the military, and him and his group of, what do you call the group of guys that are together? Is that platoon or what is that? What is that called? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So his platoon, I guess, they went out and they brought a flag with them to through the war and stuff like that. And they said the one thing that would give them peace, during when they were going through tough times, they'd put on one of my fights. So then they honored me with this flag. They put all their names on it. And it was a flag that they carried in war with them. And so now I carried it out tonight.
Awesome. Question for very cool. Question for Ronda. In the cage, Dana obviously said it was a little unfair. I think a lot of people felt it was unfair to even ask you that at that point, to say, can you step in on a month's notice? What's running through your mind at that point? Obviously, you want to step up and be a company person, but I know we talked before the fight, and you said this is probably the time where you need to take some time off.
Well, everyone kept asking me what I was doing for this fight to make it more difficult, because I always say I do something to make it more difficult on myself. And so I was waiting till the press conference to tell everybody that I was going to get knee surgery, and I just kind of got put on the spot, and I was like, well, I have to make sure I'm medically cleared first. I just want to make sure that I'm healthy, and I'm down to fight at any time. I just want to be healthy, and that's one of the mistakes that I made in judo, is I competed too much when I shouldn't have. And it seemed not very characteristic of the company when I got put on the spot, to be honest. I was very surprised. But they know that I'm down to fight whenever I can, and I'm physically able. And as soon as I'm physically able, then I'll be back and ready to go again.
And I know they brought it up in the post-fight interview, but you did seem to turn a corner a little bit with fans this week. You know, you get a lot of cheers. Ultimately, it doesn't affect your performance, but you know, you saw it with some other fighters as well. You kind of see that turn of the corner with the fans. I mean, does that mean something to you to kind of have that support?
It's nice to have a support, but I mean, if you allow the cheers to make you feel good, then you also allow the boos to make you feel bad. And so I appreciate all the passion that comes from the fans. However, it does come, and I appreciate people caring so much. But I try not to let the opinions of people that I don't personally know affect my happiness too much. I'm just happy that people care at all.
Chris, can you take us through your thinking going into the fourth round? It looked like you had won the first 3 rounds. Did you at all think of making yourself a little bit more protective, or no, not at all? Yeah,
I know. Longo just kept telling me, all right, there's another one in the book, there's another one in the book, there's another one in the book. So you got 3 in the book, and I'm just like, I don't believe you. I was like, I can't, I got to just keep moving forward, and I got to keep working, because I've seen too many decisions, go the wrong way. And so I just tried to stay focused on trying to break him, just be in his face and keep the pressure on.
Do you think it was a mistake?
The judgment?
The fourth round, the way you fought.
I don't know. I got to rewatch it on tape.
And Alexis, a lot of talk about the gap between Ronda and everyone else. You're obviously the number 2 challenger contender. How big is that gap from your perspective?
Well, I don't know. There's obviously Ronda's great at what she does. She's undefeated, and she's champion for a reason. There's a lot of things that you wish you could have did in the fight, especially a fight that ends so fast. But, that's their job. They just got to keep finding people that, are going to be able to, give it a challenge for them. Who would have thought, well, if anybody knows me and me of all fighters, that it would have been that, fast end in the first round. But I'd love to would have seen what would have happened more, would have went the distance more, would have loved to see like the ties between the judo and the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but maybe another time.
And Dana, your level of concern about that issue?
I'm not concerned whatsoever. There's still 9 other girls out there that are in the top 10. A couple weeks ago, Hannah Barao hadn't lost a fight in 10 years. He had finished every title fight. And the list goes on and on. There's always what Ronda said earlier. Ronda, what motivates you to keep working this hard? It's that gap. If you want to stay that much better than everybody, you want to stay good, you got to keep working hard. And anybody on any given night can step into that octagon and have their worst performance, while your opponent has the greatest performance of their life. That can happen to anybody on any given night. I mean, we've seen it so many times in this sport, and in the last year, we've seen it happen a lot. So there's always somebody.
This question from Uriah. With 135 being stacked and you may end up facing your man TJ, how big of a goal is it to get the belt? You still focus on that and knowing that y'all might have to lock up and go for the strap?
I've made my goals a lot shorter. It's about having my best performance every single fight. There's a lot of things that are unknown in our weight class, and I know that I'm going to go out there and win every fight that's put in front of me. So I don't necessarily want that fight. you know, when that really becomes an issue and we have to sit down and have a discussion about it, I'll address it then.
Even if it's for the belt.
Even if it's for the belt. I mean, I do this because I love it. It's not because of anything else. I don't really think I'd love fighting TJ. But if it turns out like it's a situation where he asked me and these guys asked me and everyone thinks it's a good idea, I'll consider it. It's just not something I want to do. But I plan on winning every fight that's put in front of me, and I want to keep being busy. You know, I've been in this sport 11 years, and I love fighting, man. This is what I do. So keep lining them up. I'll knock them down. You know, I know Cruz is out there. There's some other big fights out there. I was talking about possibly getting on that Japan card. I want to go fight over in Japan. I've always wanted that since I started my career. There's some studs over there as well. Barao again, that's a fight that was unfinished for me. There's a lot of, you know, indecision in there for, you know, what's next for me, but I'm ready to take whoever's put in front of me.
And his next question is for Lyoto. With this being your second time to be on the big stage for 185 to get that, how much are you motivated to get 2 belts at 2 different weight classes?
Era a segunda luta principal da noite nessa categoria. Qual era a motivação de ter 2 cinturões de 2 categorias?
My motivation was very high, but no, I didn't put it focus on the belt. I just put it focus in my performance. But maybe today, Chris Weidman was better than me, but in the future, one day I would like to fight again with him.
What's some adjustments you think you need to make for the next time when you're out lock up?
O que você tem que ajustar para encontrar de novo?
I don't know. I have to watch the fight again. It was a very tough fight, and I think maybe he took me down a couple times and he took a little advantage. But I have to go back home and see everything, and I'll be back better.
And my last question is for Rhonda and Chris. Do either one of y'all think y'all be back in the octagon before the end of 2014?
Probably.
I'd like to fight again for the New Year's card. I had good luck on that one.
Me too. We'll stick together.
Okay.
Me and her stick together.
Yeah, we
keep knocking them
have
down.
good luck when we're on the same card together. So.
Cheers.
So y'all want a 5-month break then? What? Would that mean you be wanting a 5-month break since you want me fighting until December?
5 months of training, or a break?
A break until you
I
be fighting until December.
I only train. I don't know what a break is. I'm so tough.
My question is for Chris. Chris, was your inexperience in the championship rounds the cause of the dip in rounds 4 and 5, or do you just feel something else led to that?
I don't know. I got to rewatch the tape. So if you're saying, you know, a dip in 4th or 5th, I got to look at it again. I think I won the 5th though, right? Yeah, okay. But
Yeah,
okay, I'll go with you on that. Whatever. It's all good.
Lyoto, this one's for you. Do you think you should have been more aggressive earlier in the fight instead of looking to counterpunch?
Maybe, but the first round I was studying his game, you know, because this is my style. I have to study a little bit and to see everything. But maybe if I start to be more aggressive early, maybe in the second round, I don't know what happened. I could beat him. I don't know.
Last question for Dana. The fight was so close. Do you anticipate an early rematch, or is there someone else in your mind that's also in the mix?
I had the fight 4-1. I had it. I gave Machida the 4th round. It was a great fight, and you know, this is one of those fights for Chris Weidman that, you know, he beat Anderson Silva twice, undefeated, and the way he beat Anderson Silva twice, and to get this fight against a guy like Machida, and be undefeated, have those two on your resume. I think what's next and what everybody would like to see, I think what I'd like to see and what you'd like to see is probably Vitor Belfort. So let's see what happens with Vitor. This guy can get his business handled. You know, I don't think Machida's going anywhere. Machida's one of these guys in this division that's one of the best in the world. We'll see how this thing plays out. I don't know.
This is for Machida. First of all, thanks for this epic fight. That was awesome. How do you feel emotionally right now, knowing that you almost had him on the 4th round?
I know I feel happy with my performance, but I know when I go home and I feel little sad because I would like to get this title, this belt. But it's a part of the game. I have to accept everything and keep it doing, keep my training, and I have to will be back for strong.
Chris, can you take us right here? Can you take us through the last 30 seconds when he came after you with everything he had?
I gotta rewatch it. So the last 30 seconds of the 5th round, he came after me like an animal. I gotta rewatch that. I can't tell you. I have a bad memory as it is, so I can't tell you what happens in sparring sessions. I can't tell you what happens anywhere. I just go through life. I'm happy-go-lucky.
I've got a question for you, Chris, over here. Congratulations. That was obviously an amazing performance for you. But before the fight, I'd heard some rumblings that maybe you didn't have a great camp. There were some changes in the coaching staff. I just wondered if you could talk about that and let people know whether or not it, in fact, was maybe not the greatest camp for you.
Yeah, to be honest, it was. I think it was probably my worst camp ever. But we got the job done. I had for 2 weeks I haven't been able to hit pads. Even in the locker room, I didn't hit pads with longer. My hand got messed up 2 weeks ago. Had to go to the doctors, make sure it wasn't broken. It was just ligament issues. And then my knees, I kind of might have started a little fast into camp, and my knees were not where they should have been. But I pushed through, and I refused to make excuses on why I shouldn't, win this fight. So, but if I had to be honest with myself, it was probably my worst camp as far as just everything was going wrong. I had a lot of issues.
Okay, thank you. And Rhonda, for you, kind of following up on the whole knee thing, how bad has your knee been, and for how long? Because a lot of time people kind of work through this, and really it's an issue that they maybe should have addressed earlier than they do.
Oh, well, it's kind of been a whole life thing. I tore my ACL when I was 16, and then when I was doing judo, I was pretty much getting knee surgery every 2 years. And then when I started doing MMA, it actually healed a lot, and it hadn't really been giving me too much trouble. And when I did the Misha and McMahon fight back to back, it was really, I had put so much wear on it when not resting in between. And with McMahon, I had to do so much wrestling that my knee was really starting to act up. But then I rested after that, and it started feeling better. And I knew I had to get surgery, but it wasn't really imminent. My knee is really stable. Like, all the ligaments are fine. There's just some junk floating around in there. Like, I went and did press the other day, and it was like, on the press conference day, like, there was something like moving around in there, and it was bugging me. But by the time I was done with media, it somehow worked itself out. It's just one of those things that it's annoying, and it actually got better for this camp because I did like less wrestling, and we didn't really do that much legs for this camp. But it's something that I need to take care of. I can't put it off forever, and I'd rather do it now instead of risk it getting worse.
Thank you.
We'll take one more question.
This is for Rob Font. Rob, 6 years ago you were delivering pizzas for Pizza Hut and back here. And now you're sitting up there on the dais with some of the biggest names in the UFC. You won a $50,000 bonus tonight. How much did this win change your life?
I don't even know what to say right now. This is huge. Like you said, I was delivering pizzas. Pretty much for the last 3 years, my girlfriend's been paying for everything. Got the call. George Root was a great opponent, and we went in there and handled business. He always gets hit with that, the right hand. So I knew if I touched him, I was going to put him out, and it happened.
And then for Russell, obviously a close fight tonight. How comfortable were you going into the judge's decision? Did you think you had won the fight, or were you unsure?
Anytime you hear, like 28, 29, don't, it's like, oh man, did I do enough? You know what I mean? But thankfully for me, I got the win, so good news.
And then finally for Uriah, with your submission win tonight, you tied Kazushi Sakuraba for the most submission finishes in the combined history of UFC, WEC, Strikeforce, and Pride. What makes you such a successful submission fighter out there?
I think it's, a lot of my setups for submissions are big punches, from way back from Curran, Bowles, Jens Pulver. Those are all set up by big punches, and I'm a guy that looks for the finish. You know, that I remember in wrestling, I wasn't a big pinner, and my last year in college, somebody said, you know, it just has to be a mentality. You have to be looking for that pin. You have to believe in it, and I brought that into the fight game, and that's pretty cool, man. Sakuraba is one of my favorite fighters of all times. For those who don't know him, because I know there's a lot of new folks in here, he's a wild man, you know, wrestler / fighter from Japan, but that's sweet. It's motivating. Makes me want to submit a bunch more people. So, who's next?
So I want to thank everybody for their participation this week. All the media for International Fight Week. Thank you guys so much. Everything was a huge success. Tonight was great. Now one more to go. Thank you very much, you guys. Good night.
Very good guys. Really happy.